We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Mem Aleph Amid Beis in Meseches Bava Basra. This is Bava Basra Daf 141b. On the previous summit, the Gemara brought a brisa, and the Gemara is now explaining that brisa in accordance with the following brisa, that the brisa is referring to the one who informs the husband what child was born. The Tanya, as we learned in a brisa, Hamevasreini bamen nifta rachma shel ishti. Whoever informs me what my wife gave birth to, im zachar. So if it turns out to be a male, yitol mana. That person who informs me, he's going to get a mana. He'll get 100 dinar. So yolda zachar no tol mana. So that's exactly what will happen if it ends up being a male. If she gives birth to a male, then the person who informed is going to get 100 dinar. Im nekeva mana, let's say, he says that if it's a female, then he'll get 100 dinar. So again, the same thing, yolda nekeva, no tel mana. If she gives birth to a nekeva, to a female, to a girl, so then he gets 100 dinar. Yolda zachar nekeva, ein lo elaman. And then it says that if she gave birth to a male and a female, so then he's only going to get 100 dinar. But the Gemara asks, v'hazachru nekeva lo amr, but he never made a stipulation about giving birth to a male and a female. And the Gemara says, no, that stipulation was there as well. Da amar nami, he said as well, im zachar unekeva, let's say it turns out to be a male and a female, nami yitol mana, also there he should take 100 dinar. And again, that's what the brisa on the previous summit, that is what it is referring to. But the Gemara continues, but if you interpret the brisa in that fashion, so it's essentially including everything, whoever informs me of any kind of child is going to get 100 dinar, so then what is it coming to exclude? In what situation will the person not get money? And the Gemara says, it comes to exclude, let's say the child that's born is not viable, so in that situation the person will not get any money. And the Gemara continues, there was a person who said to his wife, my property will go to the child that will be born. We're talking here about an unborn child, a fetus. When the child is born, he'll get my property. Rav Huna said on that, that's trying to give ownership to an uber, to somebody that doesn't yet exist, so to speak, who's not yet born. If somebody tries to transfer ownership to an uber, that is not going to be a good kinyan. And the Gemara continues, Eisvei Rav Nachman Rav Huna. Rav Nachman asked Rav Huna a question from our Mishnah. Ha'omer yolda ishti zachar yitol mana, yolda zachar no tel mana. If a person says, if my wife gives birth to a male child, he's going to get 100 dinar. So then if in fact she gives birth to a boy, he does get 100 dinar. And so it seems like our Mishnah is saying we're talking about a child that was not yet born. And apparently it's possible to be mezakel uber. It's possible to give this 100 dinar to a child that is not yet born. And the Gemara continues, Amar Le, he said back to him, Rav Huna said back to Rav Nachman, Mishnah Seinu, Eini Yodeh Mishana. When it comes to our Mishnah, I don't know who taught that Mishnah. Our Mishnah is actually difficult in accordance with the ruling that I issued. And the Gemara continues, V'lei Molei, but why didn't he say to him, why didn't Rav Huna respond? Rabbi Meir, he should have responded that our Mishnah follows the Tana Rabbi Meir. Diamar Adam Makna Davar Shelo Bali Olam, because Rabbi Meir happens to say that a person is allowed to be Makna something, is allowed to transfer ownership of something that does not yet exist, and so that could be, it could be that the author of our Mishnah is Rabbi Meir. And the Gemara says that won't work. Amor de Shamatli Rabbi Meir lid Davar Sheyeshno Ba'olam. Rabbi Meir says you can transfer an item that does not yet exist to someone or to an entity that does exist. But l'davar she'eno ba'olam, but to transfer something to an entity that does not exist, Misha Madli, do we ever hear that Rabbi Meir goes that far? And so therefore we cannot say that our Mishnah is following Rabbi Meir. That would not have been a solution. But the Gemara continues, V'lei Molei, let him say to him, Rabbi Yossi, that our Mishnah is following the Tana, it's following the opinion of Rabbi Yossi, Da'amar Uber Kani, because Rabbi Yossi happens to say that an Uber, a fetus, does acquire. The Tanan, as we learned in the Mishnah Meseches Yavamas, Uber Posel Ve'eno Machil Divrei Rabbi Yossi, an Uber, a fetus, is able to disqualify and is not allowed, does not allow one to eat. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. The Mishnah here in Yavamas is referring to a situation where a Kohen is married to a woman, the Kohen dies, but the woman is pregnant with the child of the Kohen. So there's an Uber here, and the Uber is not counted as a Kohen. The idea over here is that the Uber is considered to be a Zar, is considered to be a non-Kohen, and therefore the slaves of the Uber are considered to be the slaves of a non-Kohen, therefore they don't eat Truma, and also the mother of this fetus, she also does not eat Truma, because again, it's not considered that she's the mother of a child that's a Kohen. Rather, the Uber, until he's born, still has a status of a Zar, still has the status of a non-Kohen. But the point over here is that we do see that the Uber inherits. The Uber is considered to be the owner of the Avadim, and so therefore an Uber is Kani, according to Rabbi Yossi. And the Gemara says, Shani Yerusha, it's different by inheritance. Over here, the Uber is not acquiring something from someone who is giving that Uber something. Rather, it's just an inheritance that's coming to the Uber. So Shani Yerusha haba meila, it's different by an inheritance because that comes on its own. That the uber is able to acquire, and that is not relevant to our case over here, where a person is giving a certain amount of money to the uber. And the Gemara continues, V'lei malei Rabbi Yochanan ben Brokahi, but let him say that our Mishnah follows the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. Da'amar loshna Yerusha v'loshna matan. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says there's no difference between an inheritance and a gift. The Tanan, as we learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka says, Im amar al misha roy liyarsho devar of kayam. And let's say a person says about someone who's fit to inherit him, this is talking about a ben bein habonim. Let's say the father says, I want to give my whole inheritance to this particular son among my sons. So that is effective according to Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. And the idea would be that even though he's gifting it to the individual, it's treated exactly like an inheritance. So there's no distinction between the two. You wouldn't be able to answer what we just answered for Rabbi Yossi, that a Yerusha haba meila is different. But the Gemara says you still can make that distinction. Amor deshamat leila Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka lidavar sheyeshno ba'olam. Maybe Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka only said that you can give your whole inheritance to a ben bein habonim, to one son among the other sons, when that son is actually alive, that son exists. But lidavar sheyno ba'olam. But if he's not in the world, let's say we're talking about an uber, we're talking about a fetus, miyamar, would Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka say that? So you can't bring a proof from Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. But the Gemara continues, V'lei malei, let him say to him, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, he that our Mishnah is Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, v'savar lak Rabbi Yossi, and just say that Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka holds like Rabbi Yossi, and if you put the two opinions together, then you do come to the conclusion that an uber can acquire even in a situation where someone is giving something to the uber. But the Gemara says, Miyemar desavar la, who says that Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka holds like Rabbi Yossi, and therefore that's not a good answer. But the Gemara continues, V'lei malei, but let him say to him, b'mivasreini, that maybe our Mishnah is not talking about gifting something to the uber, maybe it's talking about gifting something to the one who informs me, the one who tells the father that the child was born. Maybe that's the recipient of the money, and it has nothing to do with a fetus acquiring at all. And the Gemara says to that, if so, the Katani Seif, it says at the end of our Mishnah, V'im ein sham yoresh alahu, it says if the only yoresh, if the only heir is the tumtum, so yoresh hakol, he inherits everything. And so the Gemara says, Ibim Mevasreini, if our Mishnah is talking about the one who informs me, so Yoresh Ma'avidite, why is the Mishnah mentioning a Yoresh? Why is it mentioning the fact that the Tumtum is the heir and it's going to be Yoresh Hakol? That has nothing to do with the context of the Mishnah, so it cannot be that the Mishnah is talking about Mevasreini. And the Gemara continues, V'lei malei, but why not say to him, V'sheyolda, that our Mishnah is talking where the child was already born? Meaning he's saying, if the child that was born to me is a male, he should get a certain amount of money, and then we're not talking about a fetus at all. But the Gemara says to that, if so, the Katani Seif, it says at the end of the Mishnah, V'yamamar kol masha teiled ishti, if he says anything that my wife gives birth to, Yitol is going to take, it doesn't matter. So hareza Yitol, so then whatever child is born, it doesn't matter the gender, the child will get the money. But the problem is, kol sheteiled, it says any that will be born. It says it in the future tense. Clearly the child has not been born yet. Kol sheyolda miboile, if we're talking about yolda, it should have said kol sheyolda in that part of the Mishnah. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Mem Beis Amud Aleph.